We always stream into Team Up. Okay. Hey. Hi, everybody. It's so good to see you tonight. It's Monday Night Live. Don't you love it how we all get together and the numbers are growing and people are jumping on board? Live. Don't you love it how we all get together and the numbers are growing and people are jumping on board? Don't you love it how we all get together and the numbers are growing?
Someone's got.
You just have to, hey, you just have to click out of Facebook, Amelia. There you go.
Shall we try that again?
Just keep going. You're good.
Okay, shall we try that again? All right, guys, broadcasting live. I feel like Saturday Night Live, live from Rockefeller Center. But hey, guys, broadcasting live. And, I really want to celebrate because I was kind of looking back in time. We've been broadcasting live every single Monday night for 27 years. Wow. If that's not consistency. So thank you for showing up. And I love our speaker tonight. And I have asked Jerry Moran to introduce our speaker tonight because they have a very special relationship. And the reason is that a couple of weeks ago at the Blue Ridge boot camp, Jennifer announced that, there'd be a drawing and a prize, and anybody that won the prize would be able to have a free coaching session with Jennifer Saval. I mean, and our own Jerry Moran won the prize. And so Jerry, because she has a heart, her whole thing's about contribution and serving, said, why don't we do something for the whole organization? So of course I said, yes. So Jennifer is one of my favorite people, grace personification, captivating, but make no mistake about it, this girl's a go-getter. All right, so Jerry, it's all yours.
Oh, I am so honored tonight, Terry, to introduce you and all of you to our savvy and dynamic speaker. Jennifer Saval is a presidential marketing director, a 75 club member, and the recipient of 3 Elton Awards, including Rookie of the Year. She's been married to her handsome husband, Ben, for 16 years and has 2 teenage sons who became her why to leave a very successful corporate position and become an entrepreneur and a stay-at-home mom. And in a very short period of time, 8.5 years. Her team has helped her fulfill all of her life's dreams and aspirations. With her captivating smile and charming, soft-spoken manner, she has exemplified a life of what if. Thank you, Jennifer, for teaming up with us this evening.
Thank you. I loved Kurt's idea when he offered for the speakers to raffle off time with different teams. I just thought that was such a fantastic idea. So thank you for wanting me and being excited for your name getting me. So I'm thrilled. I have known Terry for a while, and I'm seeing some names, and I see Stephanie Fletcher here, and Jerry got to get to know you in Blue Ridge, and I really am thrilled. So thank you so much. I was telling some people that were already on, my family and I were watching The Office together just now. That's our new family routine in the evening, and watching it as a non-kid woman and now watching it with kids, we're like, oh goodness, we have to pause this and talk about it. But anyway, Jerry, while you were introducing me, I re-looked at what you all called the flyer because I thought, oh gosh, what am I talking about tonight? But I thought I would share my story quickly because I don't recognize everyone's faces. So I'm guessing some of you may not recognize me, and I never want to assume that you know me anyway. So my name is Jennifer Saval. I live in just outside the Richmond, Virginia area. I'm a Virginia girl through and through. I'm the oldest of 4 girls. My parents were grocery store workers, and they worked opposite schedules, so we rarely had babysitters. And what they did in numerous jobs that they worked during my childhood afforded my sisters and me different things. So I was a cheerleader and a field hockey player. I actually went to college and played field hockey through college. It was my love. I still try to find people to play with me. Nobody will. I don't know why. Almost 50-year-old women don't like to play field hockey, I guess. But anyway, all that to say, my story before Juice Plus was pretty normal. Nobody sent red flags up about my life. I did well in school. I did well in sports. I was doing great in a corporate career, and I had allergies, and I was a sugar addict, and yet I still fit into the size jeans that most people want to. So when I wasn't getting a menstrual cycle, doctors said, you don't have enough body fat, you're an athlete. So that was shrugged off for me for years. And I got sick a lot because I had allergies. I got sick a lot. Nothing out of the ordinary for a lot of people. So I didn't think much of it until I became a mom. I became a mom and my kids were allergic and sick from the start. And I hit the pause button and I thought, this is not okay. Mostly and very frankly, it's because it was wrecking my life. We were in the doctor's office, we were quarantined at home, all of us were miserable. And I just thought, oh my word, this can't be our story. Because doctors were telling me the same thing about my kids that I had been told for years. These are normal things. And I just, for the first time, said, I'm not okay with that. So I started making all kinds of changes. My background is actually pharmaceutical research and sales. That was my corporate job for years before I started staying at home. And I started staying at home because my childcare worker with my oldest son, I went to pick him up and she said, Mom, I'm sorry to tell you this, but Sutton took his first steps today. And I figured out how to get it home as fast as I possibly could, because I did not want to miss another thing. And I never knew I would feel that way. When I was younger, I always said, I want to be a rich businesswoman. That's what I said, probably because I saw my parents fight about money all the time. But all that to say, I'm telling you this because everything the medical field was telling me made sense to me because it was my job and it's what I knew. And when it wasn't working, though, is when I looked for different things. So hopefully you're hearing parts of my story that might resonate with you or help you think of someone else, because we all have our own experiences. And my friend from childhood had been sharing Juice Plus with me for almost 2 years. But I was all wrapped up in going all whole foods, taking all of our bags or boxes away, just changing our lifestyle. But for whatever reason, I said no to Juice Plus. And it's not for whatever reason. I'll be honest with you all. My husband didn't want to pay for it. I wasn't working anymore. So we were a single income family. And even though he makes a great income, we were saying no to everything that cost money. Looking back, totally out of fear. But we just thought we were being responsible. And so meanwhile, I was at home with the boys. My husband traveled a lot. I was spinning my wheels, making everything from scratch. One of the 2 boys wouldn't even touch it. My husband was mostly home not to eat it. And so I was just getting more and more frustrated. And I finally looked at my husband. I was like, you're losing me. Not because I was going to Thelma and Louise him, but because I just wasn't myself. I wasn't the wife I wanted to be. I wasn't the mom I wanted to be. And I was not, I wasn't able to be around my friends, and just our life was in our home or in the doctor's office, and I was done. So I finally said to my husband, I was like, listen, my friend that introduced it to me, she was my childhood best friend. I was like, listen, she believes in it and I trust her. And I'm going to pay with it with my fun money, because my husband and I gave each other an allowance while I wasn't working to try to, just soften I don't know if you guys have to have those conversations, but we were trying to be responsible. And so I paid for Juice Plus with my fun money. I didn't go to lunches with friends because I wasn't anyways. And that began our journey. And literally within weeks, my youngest was sleeping and pooping. And I don't know if you have had any issues with either of those things or both, but hallelujah, it changed my life. And I will always eat Juice Plus because of those 2 things. But then things I was hoping for but didn't expect, because if you've been in your life when you just you're like, throw up your hands, you're like, I guess this is the way it is. I had started to just believe that. But months in, we started breathing easier and we started titrating ourselves off of our allergy medications, and we stopped going to the doctor so much, and we stopped spending so much money on medications and doctor visits. And I didn't have to leave our room in December. Every December since I had known my husband, I would leave because I had bronchitis and I would keep us up all night, and I felt bad because he was working for us. It was the first winter I didn't do that, and that's when my husband looked at me and said, I think I need to do this too. Well, meanwhile, the boys and I, we were feeling better. We were breathing easier. I was losing that sugar craving. I had more energy, and I was actually getting to send them to preschool and talk to the moms in pickup line. And we were able to have people at home, at my home for play dates. We were meeting friends at the playground, and I was gathering family and other friends. And every single time, you all, every single time, I was not a Juice Plus partner, I heard women or people in my life I loved say something that either resonated with or hit home with me in the emotion that they were feeling, because this was taking me from feeling really desperate to really thriving. I was in the process of starting to thrive again and getting myself back. And I found myself wondering with them, I wonder if what I'm doing would help you. No one coached me to say that. I wasn't a partner with this company. I just was listening and sitting and resonating with people I cared about. And I just wondered out loud if what I was doing would help them. And I asked their permission if I could tell them what was going on with me lately. And then, also brilliant, didn't know it was, I sent them all to the person that shared with me, because I wanted nothing to do with it. I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom because I was actually enjoying it for the first time since I had become a mom. And at this point, my oldest was 6 and my youngest was 3. So that was a long time to be feeling like it wasn't awesome. And so my friend called me and she said, listen, I know you and Ben still argue about the price of Juice Plus. What if we could just wipe that away? Literally almost every woman you've sent to me wants to eat Juice Plus, and some of them want to pay it forward to their family. And I was like, awesome. And she goes, yeah, and I'm not getting paid for that. You are. And I said, okay. So the only reason I became a partner was because she showed me what was in it for me. And again, I hope you're just kind of gathering some little nuggets here just through my story. Is I cared enough about people to ask them a question. I sent them to someone who knew more than me because honestly, I was too insecure and I didn't want to take the time to know more for myself. I just wanted to read my kid a book. And so when she called me, because she knew me, because when you let people know you, they know things to tie in with you. And she's like, I want you and Ben to stop fighting about Juice Plus. And I was like, me too. I want to kiss him. So all that to say, I became a partner. And literally in 10 days, I made my first and my second promotion. So literally in 10 days, I was just about paying for my Juice Plus. In 3 months, I got my first $1,000 paycheck. And I always talk money because I think you all deserve to hear that. So $1,000 means a lot to a lot of people. And to me, it made me stop. And all those women I've been asking, I wonder if to them, I wondered if to me. And I said to myself, I wonder if this could be a little bigger and I could send my baby to that school we want to go to, because my husband and I weren't fighting about Juice Plus anymore. And we certainly weren't fighting about education, but we weren't agreeing on the timing. And I wanted it to look different. And the only reason he wasn't agreeing was because of finances. And I just started to not be okay with saying no. So I called my friend and I said, I don't want my priorities to get out of order, but how can I make this bigger? And she goes, easy, I'll show you. And she showed me a system. And when I talked about it, Blue Ridge with Jerry there, and I don't know if any of you all were there with her, but I took like a hot 5 minutes to talk about the DMO. And I can talk to you about that in a second if you want to, just let me know. But she taught me the DMO. She taught me a way to be very intentional for a short period of time. And back then it was nooks and crannies of the day. I mean, my kids were sticking their fingers under the bathroom door. I had no time to myself. So literally on my way to Target, while they were strapped in, I would make a phone call, or before I got out and in the parking lot, I sent a text. So that being said, by that September, my baby, who was going into 1st grade, was going to the school that we wanted. And so I want to ask you all, what is it that you are saying no to that you want to say yes to? Because my experience with Juice Plus, I was just looking for quality of life improvements, took us to a lifestyle that I cannot believe. So yeah, my experience has been really fast. I got to senior sales coordinator within 6 months of signing up as a Juice Plus partner. I had more than doubled that $1,000 paycheck. I was only one qualifier shy as a senior sales coordinator of the Eltons that year in Nashville, I remember, but my husband and I got to do a super fun tour while everyone else is dancing the night away at the Eltons. And literally by that next spring, I was a QNMD, and by that next spring, so 2 years and 3 months into being a partner, I became a national marketing director. And that next fall, I was a 24 club. That next fall was a 39 club, and the rest is history. I lose track after that. But literally from 4 years of getting that $1,000 paycheck, 4 years later, I had my first $10,000 paycheck. And again, I just think it's important to talk specifics because this is real. And though, I don't think it's the monetary value on the paycheck that makes us rich. I think it's the choices that we want to have that does. And so I just invite you to wonder what if with me, because the things that my husband and I get to say yes to now are the things that were desperately desired on our hearts. We wanted our boys to go to a school where they would know whose they are while they learn. That was our choice we get to have now. And that's not every mommy's choice. And so now my paycheck also pays for a school that was started in the city of Richmond that my dear friend started because she wanted other mommies, no matter what their socioeconomic status, to be able to send their kids to a place that was safe, that they would learn whose they are while they learned in a diverse setting. And so my husband and I monthly support that big time. And we also support our church, and we also support Youth Life, which is another foundation another dear friend started that supports after school tutoring and bringing kids from the inner city into a safe place. So they're there instead of wherever else they could be. And so giving is a huge part of my heart. And that's where a lot of my paycheck goes to. But another big part of my heart is for my husband is one of 5. I'm one of 4. I went on one vacation my entire life. My father promised to never do it again because my youngest sister asked, are we there yet? Every 2 minutes. But we also didn't have the money. And my husband's family didn't either. He can't even remember a vacation. And so we vowed to make experiences for our children. And so I'm not going to pause and try to bring up pictures because I think that would take too much time. Unless you all want to, I can certainly do that at the end so you can see my family. But we have, I can't even tell you all the places we've taken our children, but we've been traveling since they were 4 and 7 around the world. And as soon as we figured out that my youngest could walk all of Central Park, we were like, it's on. But my paycheck is helping us to say yes. And when COVID was shutting down things, we were doing a multiple $100,000 renovation on our home because we could, because we have choices. And so I could go on and on. I don't like to talk about myself, but I also think it's important for you all to hear that someone else besides the community you're most closely in with Terry and Jerry and Stephanie and your other leaders, it's important for you to see other people getting to say yes because you took the time to help someone else in your life, usually that you know and care about very well. And sometimes very randomly, I'll share with someone in the grocery store. Super, super rare, but it's almost always people I love. So I don't know if that's helped you all pause and say, okay, what's my life like right now? And what would I like for it to look like? Did you know that it's possible? Are you willing to ask yourself, what if? What if this is a pathway to more yeses for you and whatever is important to you? One of my partners, who is a sweet late 20s, she's mom of 2 little ones. She's pregnant again. She's amazing. She's a QSSC in my organization in Pennsylvania. I would have never met her if not for one of my dear QNMD friends. She just wants an extra pair of bed sheets. She's not thinking about taking her baby to London to go see soccer games, which is what we did on spring break. She's thinking about extra bed sheets so she's not doing laundry so much. So it doesn't have to be glamorous. It's the choices we want to be able to say yes to. So your paycheck amount is looking different than my paycheck amount, which is looking different than someone else's paycheck amount. But my husband reminded me a few months ago at our leaders retreat that my upline Wendy Vance hosted for us. And she asked the two of us to share. And he told the people that were there, he said, you know, my wife came home. I was in a leadership training with the last pharmaceutical company I was with. And in the middle of our comp plan, they changed everything. They changed everything. Just swiped the rug out from under us. And I came home and I told him I hadn't remembered this, that I was never going to work for anyone else again. I did not remember that. And it wasn't until 6 years into being a stay-at-home mom that my friend showed it what was in it for me for my budget line. And now our life is completely changed. My oldest son, who just turned 15 a few weeks ago while we were in Costa Rica, he said, Mom, I took him to sushi lunch, which sushi lunches are expensive. That was ridiculous when we got that receipt. But he said, I mean, first of all, what 15-year-old asks his mother, what's your dream job? Like, first of all, to be able to have a conversation with my baby in the middle of the day and him say, what's your dream job? And for me to look at him and say, I'm doing it. I get to be your mom, not distracted about responsibilities somewhere that I'm just a number anyway, because that's what I was in pharma. I get to be here with you, helping shape you, helping be a part of your life, having conversations that are good, that are hard, that are everything in between. And I'm helping other women do the same. So I saw in the chats, I'm trying not to look at the chat, but I did see you all want to see my DMO. My DMO is literally the free one on anywhere on the hub or the Freedom Revolution or wherever you all are telling your folks to go. It's this one. And I can bring it up. I can share my screen real quick if you guys want me to. I know we're counting down. I don't know Terry and Jerry. Oh, I just realized that's funny. Terry and Jerry. I didn't know if there was anything, if you wanted to leave a couple of minutes for questions, if there was anything I didn't say that you'd want me to say. I definitely want to talk about the 90-day challenge that Travis talked about. I want to say something about Level Up that we just had. But if you'd like for me to share my screen real quick, I can do that just to show a few things.
I would love for you to share your screen
Okay.
with DMO and how that applies to
Right.
the 90-day challenge. And I want to hear your takeaway on Level Up because I was blown away. So pull the screen up and then merge those concepts together.
All right. I'll try, Terry. I'll try. Okay, let's see. Okay, I can see, Terry, can you just thumbs up that it's coming up right here? Okay, so this is my family just real quick. And it's not a new picture, actually. It is at Glacier last year. This is my husband, Ben. And this is me in a hat that Wendy Campbell made me buy, and I do love it. But we actually stopped and stayed a few days with Jim and Wendy Campbell. For those of you that have gotten to hear Wendy or know Wendy, she's a fabulous part of my upline. And then my oldest son, Sutton, who was 14 in this picture, now he's 15. And literally he's knocking on 6 foot. So he's so funny how he's grown in the last year. And then this is my baby, Luke, who was 10 in this picture. And now he's actually almost 12 next month. So anyway, real quick, I'll go to the DMO to show you. Let me say something real quick. And Jerry knows these are pictures I actually had never showed anyone before until at Blue Ridge. And something I want to share with you, because you guys are like, I don't know, one of you might be saying, well, that's all fine and well, Jennifer, and it sounds great, but you don't know my life. And I don't know your life. And most people, when I was on stage doing this, had no idea what my life was either. Because the thing is, I think real quickly, the 24 hours to 7 days, we all have that. And then there's the husband that people can see, the 2 boys that people can see, the 2 dogs that people can see. And then I talk about in all the rest, the parentheses, right? So you have your parentheses and no one knows your parentheses except for the people you're willing to share them with. And I think that it should be a few earned people, right? People that have earned that. And so real quickly, when I was getting an MD, we had moved into our third home in a few years. In order to move in, my Aunt Lane, who was the most present grandmother figure in our lives at that time. I won't, for respect of time, I won't tell you all the ins and outs of it. But as we were transitioning into 3 generations living under one roof, which I will tell you was not going well anyway, my husband's twin sister, Elizabeth, passed away suddenly. She had just moved across the country. She was by herself, and it was traumatic for our family. And so not only were these 3 things happening pretty simultaneously, my husband and I then started going to counseling, because grieving by yourself is one thing, grieving as a married couple is another thing, and then grieving as parents is a totally other thing. And so I don't know what your parentheses are, but we can live in the and, right? We can live in the and. And what I mean by that is we can have the parentheses, the noise, the circumstances, the insecurities, all the things going on in our heads. And then we can have the things that we hope for, we are encouraged by, we believe in, the choices we want. And this, I love this quote. In reading the lives of great women and men, I found that the first victory they won was over themselves. Self-discipline with all of them came first. And that's when I showed the DMO at Blue Ridge. This is literally the only tool that kept me in my lane and helped me live in the and in my business. I love this tool. It's free. And it literally is how I built my business, how I grew my business, and what I still do today to maintain and grow my business. And I love it when you can print it out lengthwise, because you can fold it in half, and the top half is who you love, and the bottom half is what you're going to invite them into. It is the simplest, most easy way to discipline yourself, whether you have nooks and crannies or a solid 30 minutes that you can hide yourself away or more. And so I took my who and I invited people to level up over the weekend. Y'all, if you haven't bought your January ticket yet, please do. I did. It was $59. I don't know if it's still that cheap. It was offered that day. But the women in that room and the men that were in that room sitting with us were blown away. I can't even, Terry, even begin to talk about what. But I will say, Tony Robbins, first of all, who gets Tony Robbins to close an event? Juice Plus. And the 2 stories he told were life-changing. I don't know anyone who didn't listen to him wrap up our day and not be life-changed. Because 8.5 years in to sharing Juice Plus, I was re-inspired and my resiliency went way up. I was like, I've been consistent, I've been resilient, but game on. And so I love Travis Garza, our new CEO, his challenge, his 90-day challenge. I've been doing it. I have my little binder, and I have Ashley Hudson made this for our team, and I'm using August, and I've got my July right in here to follow up to the people I called or texted in July. And I've got a person on every name. This was blank because we were on vacation, and I like to take breaks, and you should too, because rest is important. But that's what your DMO also helps you do. So what do you want? When do you want it? What are you willing to do to get there? Right? What are you willing to do to get there? Are you willing to accept that life is and we're in the and all these things can be going on, including what's in your head, right? I'll just rest on this slide because I know we got to go. But there's also the choices, the hopes, the joys, the dreams that you have too. And we can live in the and. The DMO is the tool that kept me in my place, in my lane. It disciplined me. And I do believe you have to discipline yourself before the choices come. So if you choose to discipline yourself, then the discipline creates more choices. And I do think that choices are what make us rich. So I hope this felt helpful to you all. If there's anything else you'd want me to pop in or any questions you'd like me to answer, I'd be glad to. But I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I think you're magnificent. And I think you have just poured into everybody's heart. And it's kind of like, you are the intention, the belief. You spoke intention, you spoke belief, but you brought it home again with the action plan. That's my formula for success: intention, belief, and action simultaneously. And Jennifer, you are the walking example of that formula. So I just can't thank you enough. I mean, thank you for sharing, you know, reactivating your what if and your dreams, because it spoke to every single one of us. And I think we have some guests on the line tonight. So you're in the right place at the right time with the right product and the right people. So unless somebody has a burning question of Jennifer, if you want to unmute yourself, I think it's time to say goodnight. Anybody want to say anything to her? Don't be shy. I see people clap.
Thank you, Jennifer. So
Thank
good.
you so much, Jennifer. Thank you.
Thank you,
You're
Jennifer. That was
welcome.
inspiring.
Thank you.
I think you all can see how she really works from her heart, but very intentionally with her DMO. And it shows. It shows in every aspect of her life.
Her and.
Thank you so much.
All right. Guys, thank you so much for being with us tonight. Jennifer, peace and blessings. Enjoy the rest of your evening. We love you and we're grateful for you. Good night,
Thanks for
everybody.
trusting me with your time. Love you. Bye.
Oh, amazing. Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Good night.